and welcome to Strictly on the Sofa.
The show where we overanalyze every sequin, every heel turn, and every dark disaster, all from the comfort of our living rooms.
I am Flo, and I'm back in the country. Yay!
Welcome back! And I am Laura, and this week we are yodeling. Yodele, yodele, yodele. First of all, how was Sri Lanka? And have you kept up with Strictly since you've been gone?
Yes, first of all, I've had such a good holiday. It was great. And second of all, managed to keep up with Strictly for the whole time. It was like the only show I actually kept up with while I was away, which I was very proud of myself for, to be honest. So I'm up to date with Musicals Week. I'm ready to talk all about it. I'm very excited.
Excellent. I have a lot of thoughts this week as a musicals fan.
So
many thoughts.
Do I? Many thoughts.
I'm pleased. My main thought is that why is it produced by people who don't know what musicals are? Like, I feel...
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you're right to ask. So, I feel like in Strictly Land, there's 10 musicals. 5 of them are The Sound of Music. 2 of them are Disney. And the rest are written by Andrew Lloyd Webber. And then no other musical exists.
Yes.
And also, it's what people who don't say they don't like musicals think musicals are. Just Andrew Lloyd Webber and this. And where actually there's a musical out there for literally everyone. Like, you will, like, it's like saying, no one says, oh, I don't like films, do they? Because there will be a film that you do like somewhere.
Yeah, or like, I don't like comedies, or I don't like... to be fair, I don't like horror movies, but, I'm sure there's a horror movie for me out there somewhere.
I believe, Get Out. I hate horror movies, but that was one of my favourite Oscar films last year. Shout out. So, completely, I think it just, people need to know that there are good musicals out there for them that aren't just memory all alone. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's what sorry, that is my biggest bugbear. I'm glad to get it out of the way so early. It just angered me.
So I completely agree, because I think they do pick the same musicals, the same type of musicals a lot, right? But I think it might be symptomatic of like their music choices generally, like the amount of repetitions of songs, like every single week. They did like Hot, 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 that samba last week for Ashley and Passion. Yeah. Like, that's classic Mark Cash and Karen, like classic.
First I'm Still Standing, and now Hot, Hot, Hot. It's not on, is it?
No, exactly. I feel like there's maybe about like 20 songs in the Strictly universe, 10 musicals, and they just keep repeating them. And I'm like, very often there's just not that much like inventiveness with finding like even slightly unusual like singers or musicians or anything. Like, it's all completely, it's a mass entertainment show, so obviously it's all going to be like mass hugely popular music, but just occasionally they could have a really like slightly more underground like music choice, and that definitely goes for musicals too. Like, they could.
I completely agree, and the thing is, I think that we've proven that we're a receptive audience. I mean, did anyone know Danny Mac's samba song before? The Danny Mac Claxons come early today as well. Did anyone know his samba song before he did that samba to it? This might just me being stupid because Mark Anthony is an actual Grammy winner, but his Danny Mac salsa song as well, the one that it's by Mark Anthony. I think it's called Vivir Ma Vida or something. Butchered the Spanish language there. I think, I didn't know that before, but now it's one of my favourite songs.
Oh my God, that's the one that I was in that falafel store the other day, and they were playing it on the radio in the falafel store, and that's the one I was trying to record and send to you.
Succeeded. It made my day. I love it.
Such a niche thing to be like, oh my God, the Danny Mac salsa song in the falafel shop came on.
The Danny Mac song in the falafel shop with the candlestick.
It killed me.
Well, yeah, like, it's now recognisable to us. But we didn't know it before. It's literally Danny Mac's salsa song in my head. So, and then that's its official title. So I think they've like definitely branch out. Maybe it was a rights issue more than anything, but I don't know. All I know is that if you're doing musicals, I think you have a duty to not just use the same 10.
Yeah, and also, like, maybe it maybe is a rights issue, but surely slightly like lesser known musicals would be quite happy for Strictly to highlight one of their songs.
100%. Yeah, I agree. I think there must be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about that, so maybe it's true. And another thing, I thought that the We Are the Champions performance in the results show was, it was really good. I'm not a huge Queen fan, but it was a good performance. But like, it's not exactly like a musical song, is it? Like, yeah, there's a musical with it in because that's like a jukebox musical, but it's not like it came from the musical.
It was tenuously linked at best. And I thought when Cordy was like singing "We Are the Champions" from the musical "We Will Rock You," I was like, but is it? He's not in the musical. The musical isn't on the West End at the moment. You've just wanted to put Adam Lambert on. You're like, shit, we've got to link this to musicals somehow.
Yeah,
like that's essentially what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish that like all Strictly on the Sofa listeners just had access to our WhatsApps, because then I wouldn't have to like repeat them all the time. But it's like your WhatsApp that you sent the other day, like, put the Hamilton chorus on, you cowards. Like, can you imagine how good it would have been if they got the Hamilton, like one of the big showstoppers?
Yorktown!
Oh!
The professionals doing Yorktown would have slain me.
Because one of the problems with Hamilton is there's not any really obviously good Strictly Come Dancing songs to dance to, so put them on the results show, for goodness sake. Oh,
be relevant, for God. Like, this is the biggest show in the West End at the moment. Be relevant. Yeah. Like, don't just play a musical that hasn't been on for like donkey's years.
Literally.
Oh,
like again, like you said, like the newest musical they had on there was Les Mis, which is obviously one of my favourites.
That came out in 1985, guys.
But it's not exactly
that's the newest musical.
The most current, is it?
No, it's not by any stretch of the imagination. It's my favourite. But like I was furious actually when I worked that out. I was like, come on, think outside the box. I literally did a little bit of writing down. This is what annoys me, because whether it's a rights issue, I don't know. But I did the bare minimum of research for this podcast today, and I found about 5 songs that would be better for salsa than Joseph. Like, and please off the top of my head. But so before Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote Hamilton, wrote In the Heights, which is a musical about the Latino community in New York. And as it's about the Latino community, there's a lot of salsa songs in it. Like, many salsa songs that would be better than the Joseph Megamix. And I love Joseph. So, like, my suggestion would be that instead of doing Mamma Mia as the opening dance in on the Saturday night, they should have done a Joseph Megamix dance on the opening night. And then let Joe do not Joseph. Just because his name's Joe, do you know what I mean? Like, boring!
I didn't mind that, because I thought but my issue, right, and again, I love ABBA, so I'm not complaining too much, but they have done a Mamma Mia song already once this series.
Exactly.
And it's like, why are you doing it again? Like, yeah. Just to have a tiny bit of inventiveness, that's all.
It just feels like... so I had a musicals-themed 21st birthday party. And so in case you wondered how much I liked them.
She likes them a lot.
And one of the reasons I did it was because, like, if people... it's high or low maintenance, whichever you want to go. Like, there was a group of boys who just turned up as Green Day and went as American Idiot with a bit of eyeliner on. But then there was a girl who... literally dressed in a full head-to-toe cat's costume, and best thing I've ever seen. And so But I feel like Strictly is the biggest show on telly, you know? I want the cat's costume, I don't want the eyeliner. And I feel like they have the eyeliner approach to musicals, and I'm not having it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes. Shall we get on to the dances? I'm just popping up the leaderboard. Okay, I've got it. Right. So, what way do you want to go? Should we just start with Faye?
I mean, up on a hill with a lonely childhood. I thought this song was not going to work at all, and I am now obsessed with
it. So, I am so glad she got her 40. Finally.
I almost cried. Well, no, I did. I cried. Their reaction. It was too much.
Yeah, so cute. How funny did Giovanni look? Like, I can't even. Like, how did he look? Like, weirdly pretty, but also really ridiculous.
Also terrifying.
And also nothing like him. Also terrifying.
Also, I, as a musicals fan, I'm not that much of a fan of Sound of Music. I think I've seen it once. So I went back and watched the actual scene from the film today as well. I've had a very busy day at work. And it's uncanny. Like, he looks like that puppet.
Oh, really?
Like, I'm concerned that they put Giovanni in storage for, like, 50 years and then brought him out, and that the authentic Giovanni is the terrible puppet Giovanni. He well done, the costume department.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And Faye looks also ridiculous as well.
That's what I like about her. She's fit about having fun.
Yeah. Right. So, I did enjoy this.
Oh no.
I did. But it's not my favourite of their dances. And so I'm a bit like, oh, I wish they'd got their first 40 for something else. I don't know what. I mean, yeah, I don't know what, but this was it was technically amazing, right? I'm not saying that it wasn't good. And it was really entertaining. But, like, I've watched it back. I wasn't sure. I couldn't put my finger on it. I watched it back again. And I think it's because they're puppets. So there's a bit of, like, woodenness to it. Which was obviously very in character. But the first time around I watched it, I felt it was, like, Faye was, like, not completely, like, letting go and being really ridiculous. Like, do you remember when Ashley was that?
Oh, yeah.
Was it a troll? Was that was their Charleston, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she just completely did she looked so at home doing the whole kooky thing, whereas I felt Faye, it was all a bit wooden for her. But then obviously I watched it back and I was like, oh yeah, she's a puppet. So that's probably why. So yeah, there was just something like, it didn't quite work for me, but the whole thing was so ridiculous and so amazing that I did really enjoy it. But I don't know, I can't quite I just wish that they got their 40 for something else, that's all.
But well, we all know they should have got it for their couple's choice.
Yes. Yeah.
But I loved it. I thought there was nothing I like, so I feel like this week is just going to be me mentioning musicals I like. I think we should have like a little counter at the end and see how many I end up mentioning. But in Chitty Bang Bang, where she's like, oh, can you see these people looking at me, turning around on a music box that's wound by a key? That one.
Yeah.
That's like my favourite bit of that film. And so I feel like this really tapped into my love of people playing puppets. And so I really enjoyed it. Also, stop kink shaming me, please.
I mean, that's really fair, and they did play the puppets really well.
Also, Giovanni's Charlestons are always iconic, I think.
This is an iconic Charleston. Like, this will definitely be like always remembered because it was so weird and different. So yeah.
And also, that's what I mean about why I want Faye to win, because I think it's a toss-up between maybe her and Stacey as in who's doing the most iconic performances this year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh, well, also, can I just like shout out to those goat puppets because they were ridiculous.
Oh my god! I feel like that's me and you on a night out. Like,
yeah,
I
literally.
feel like you might be Faye and I'd be the goat.
No, not at all. I would be the other goat.
Two goats, both alike in dignity. I really enjoyed that when Shirley was like, "You are a pure diamond." I was like, "Me." Also, drunk girls in the bathroom. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like literally me when I look at Faye. She's my favourite.
I like. She's still absolutely. Her and Stacey, I've kind of decided now are up there, and I don't know who I want to win. Actually, it's completely close.
Yeah.
So I love this, but I just when I say wooden, I don't know. It's not a criticism because that's what it was meant to be.
It just wasn't.
But yeah, I mean, this is literally just like tiny things now. Because overall, I was like, wow, that was so good. But yeah, also like I know we say every week, but Giovanni's just grown on me so much. And for the first time, I actually enjoyed their ridiculous VT doing something.
Oh my god!
Unrelated to the dance.
I made a few little notes on my phone because it was too sort of late to live tweet it, so I was like, I'll just write some notes on my phone. And I said I'd pay to watch a Faye Giovanni Contrafile special. I'm obsessed with their chemistry.
Completely. Like. Normally, I'm like rolling my eyes, like, "Oh God, what are you going to learn from like going to see a farmer?" But like that VTR actually really like it was so funny. Just like watching Giovanni like chase the sheep around.
Also, when they all thundered towards them, I was like, "That is terrifying." I love it. Yeah, I want them to do like if you know how there's a Great British Bake Off. I mean, I say that as if no one watches it, but you know how there's a Great British Bake Off. They should have
this kind of niche program. I don't know if you'd have heard of it.
Like only hipsters like me watch it. I think there should be like a Great British shepherding one, but like or like Strictly Come Shepherding.
Oh my god, please write to the BBC.
I mean, I've got a lot of thoughts this week. Like, a lot of thoughts. And I'm just going to go back to what we said at the start. They have a duty to promote the West End if they're doing Musicals Week. Well, not promote it, but, like, to show them the good stuff that we've got on. Because if you're having a Musicals Week, you're acknowledging that a good part of your fan base are musicals fans. So, like, show what the West End has got to offer. Like, for goodness sake! If not Hamilton, then everybody's talking about Jamie. Like, last year they did Dreamgirls. I don't think you should be tenuously finding Adam Lambert. Like, I really like Adam Lambert, and I thought his performance was really good. Like, I'm not saying that. I just mean as in, like, it felt like he was already booked, and they were like, crap, it's Musicals Week.
Yeah, he could have done that performance any week, basically,
exactly.
Couldn't he? It was like, yeah. Exactly. I agree. Who's next? Should we talk about Ashley?
You sounded so dejected. Should we talk about
Ashley? No. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I'm feeling sorry for her at this point because she's trying so hard, and that quick step was insane. Like, I kind of know what Shirley means about it all being like all at one level. Like, there wasn't that much more reserved areas to it, but I think that they were just going all out there, just like in reaction to last week. Oh my god, I've never seen Pasha look angry, but when Shirley was like, there was too much in there, and Pasha was like, right. I thought that was like angry Pasha starting to come out.
And he's such a cinnamon roll as well. Like, I couldn't.
I know.
Like, he should defend her. I know what you mean. Like, I think I've said this before on the podcast. I've really struggled with what the position should be, but I think as long as she's trying, as long as she's enjoying herself, then like this is a dancing show. It's not like Strictly Come make someone feel bad about themselves. You know what I mean? I just don't
exactly.
And that quick step was insane. And I think it's perhaps unfair of Shirley to. I understand why she said it, and I agree. It was very like. No, I wasn't necessarily like wowed by it, even though I just said that, but like wowed by it in terms of like I haven't watched it again. But there's no real slow bits in that song, so I don't know where
I
she
was
should
gonna
have could have
say
put it. Like, I mean,
it's an absolute belter, isn't it? Like it's
the only slow bit they could have had in that song is the bit where it goes, "Hey, Mr. Armstein," and but they cut that bit out, so it's not really their fault.
yeah.
I think it was a struggle. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I agree. I agree.
I did really enjoy watching it when I watched it, and I feel sorry for her.
I actually really enjoyed it, and I was a bit like open mouthed at the end of it, really. So yeah, I did really enjoy it. What I'm worried about now is that she's going to be in the dance off against somebody next week, and a potential finalist will leave because they're against Ashley.
So
what happens if Faye and Ashley are against each other in the dance off, or like Ashley and Stacey? Or
so I've narrowed this down in my head, and this is what I'm concerned about. So Faye fans, I'm really going to need you to pull through next week, because Joe's going to go through, right?
Yeah.
I think Joe is the only certainty to go through next week. Lauren, if Lauren goes through, that means Stacey's got a Charleston next week. That's going to be a crowd pleaser. And also she's got the novice girl vote.
Yeah.
So is Faye going to leave in the semi-final?
Stop.
I'm not having that. The person who delivers the most iconic performances cannot leave in the semi-final.
Like Faye's a potential winner.
Exactly.
Like, that's really stressing me out now. Like, if anyone was to leave, because and again, it just goes back to like what you were saying last week. Who is voting for Lauren and AJ? I know we'll get on to them, but like at this, I don't think they're finalists, and I'll be really sad if they go through and someone like a potential winner gets knocked out because they're against Ashley in the dance off. So yeah, it's stressing me out. So I'm almost inclined to like vote Ashley through to the final so that it's a fair dance off for the final.
That'd be better, wouldn't it?
And also she deserves to be in the final. She's excellent.
Yeah.
I have warmed to her so much more over the series. So yeah. I feel sorry for it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I tell you what, I really didn't like last week. So, after the podcast, I went on like the hashtag of the Ashley Roberts on Twitter, and there were people being really foul about her. And at the end of the day, like, even though I said that, I don't know, she's a professional, it didn't feel fair that Graham was against her. Like, I don't think it's fair to say that, Ashley's in the dance off. Like,
yeah.
They let her, they've asked her to be on this show. And it isn't her dance genre, if we're going to really say it. And I just don't think it's, it's just a dance show.
Yeah, it just always feels really, just really nasty and really unnecessary when people, kind of take pleasure in people being in the dance off, because that's not what it's about.
Exactly. And I would feel awful if I read any of those things about me, especially because I'm doing a good job.
Exactly.
A good dancer. What on earth? So I don't know if I'm here for any of that nonsense.
No, I agree. So yeah, anyway, I mean, well done, Ashley. I thought it was great, and really tough that she was in the dance off again. But you can see why she's not got the public vote necessarily. But let's see what happens next week. I am nervous, but
I'll get the phone out for Faye. Like, the last time I did that was for Vic, so I don't know why. The fact that I just said that makes me feel like stress. Anyway, should we move on to... Should we go down the leaderboard, or do you want to jump back down to the bottom?
Let's talk... I mean, Stacey was actually tied with Ashley, so I feel like we should talk about Stacey next. Also, because I full on cried.
We're jet lagged, it's the only reason.
I had a terrible, terrible journey back from my holiday, I won't bore you with all the details, but I was essentially got stuck in Kuwait for 24 hours. And yes, it was horrific. And so I arrived back in the UK. Like, I was meant to get in on Saturday. I was so excited about it. I was going to like order a takeout, like get a glass of wine, sit down, recover from my journey, watch Strictly, catch up with everybody, and just be like, oh, and then spend Sunday getting myself kind of mentally prepared to go back to work, you know? Anyway, in the end, landed like late Sunday afternoon, evening, feeling all like stressed out and exhausted, and I hadn't really like slept properly for like a good couple of days, and I was like, oh, I've got to go back to work tomorrow and I'm not ready for it. And so obviously, like, I ate, I showered, and I watched Strictly. That was the most important things for me to do. And then I was so tired and emotional, and I had like one glass of wine, and it just like knocked me out. And I was watching this dance by Stacey and Kevin, and it just hit me, like it just really got to me. And I was, you know, sometimes you get a little tear in your eye or whatever, like. I was like choked up for a good like minute or two after it had finished.
Oh my god!
It really got to me. I was not emotionally ready for that dance.
I mean, it was beautiful. Like, I don't blame you. I don't think it's Les Mis. Come on, who doesn't cry at Les Mis?
Yeah. I know, and I think Shirley and Bruno like seemed to be the same as well. Like Shirley looked a bit like shaken up, didn't she?
Was Bruno like? If I remember rightly, wasn't he literally dabbing his eyes like, "Oh my god"?
He was. So, he was.
Yeah. I tell you what, that's what Stacey brings to it. And when I'm having my more again Stacey moments, I remember that this is not her forte. Like this, as in like the way she acted, that was brilliant. And like she really does bring storytelling to a dance, where storytelling, if you like on paper, you wouldn't be like, oh my god, Stacey Dooley is going to be amazing at storytelling. It, like in terms of acting, I would say, not like obviously she tells stories in her documentaries, if you know what I mean. But but you know what I mean. Like she really performs it. Yeah, and so I'm like to go out there and full on be like, I am Fontaine, and although the week before, sorry, just to like pick holes in her story. The week before, she was like, I don't do musicals. Don't like musicals. And this week she was like, oh my god, I love Fontaine. And I was like, how do you know who Fontaine is? Slash, she might have watched the film.
Yeah.
But I was like, stick to your story, babes.
Yeah. I feel like this has been quite an education for her in terms of like music.
Yeah, definitely.
Like each week she's like, oh, I don't know that song. And then, like, I'm not saying she's dumb or anything, not at all, but I just don't think she's that much of a person who's into music, maybe. I don't know.
She listens to, I feel like she listens to Beyonce. She like knows what she likes, but she hasn't, I don't necessarily think maybe she hasn't got an eclectic music taste, but I feel like it's been, just a whole new world for her. Whole new world.
Yes. A whole new world.
And to do that grab to the camera, so brave, I think. But
I know.
I think I'd find that I'd feel like I was being too cheesy, or I'd be too scared to do it because it's such a direct moment. So I thought she did, and that was so moving. So I thought she did a really amazing job, and her hair was perfect.
Yeah, amazing. And also, I just thought it was really, you know, we're sort of berating Strictly for not being inventive in terms of their choice of musicals and stuff. But I thought this was so inventive in terms of like the choreography and the whole concept of it. And it really felt like they'd done something different because it was musicals week.
Yes.
They put something together that wasn't just a dance to a musical song. It was something like, it felt like it could have been staged as a special performance for Les Mis or something like that.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And actually, that's what. So when I went through my little list of things that would be better for different like dances, I didn't change that one because I think that one was perfect. And I think also
Yeah.
when I say that you need to bring in like newer musicals, I don't mean every single one. Like I compared it earlier to when I was talking to my mum to when you listen to Elaine Page on Sunday. You want Les Mis on there. You want to listen to a bit of Phantom. You want to listen to the ones you know. But occasionally, just want being like, oh, I've not heard that one before, or occasionally you want one that's like, Mum, that's that Broadway show I was telling you about, when no one's heard it. And so I think like this, I would have kept everything Stacey did the same. I thought it was brilliant, and also, as you say, because it was telling that story of Fontaine, and it felt staged. That's for me the spirit of Musical Week, and that's what not enough of them did, in my opinion. So
yeah,
um,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was so good.
It was.
But also I was not in a very stable state at that time, so
Okay. No, like it brought a tear to my eye.
Yes.
I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, Stacey, do you make documentaries?
Yeah.
But obviously she should, and I think it was probably organically brought up because, like Carly Stenson, who's playing Fontaine on the West End, so that she watched the documentary to prepare.
Yeah. I don't know, that felt like a better fit this week than like their couple's choice, where Stacey's like, oh, I make documentaries. Oh, and now I'm going to do this dance.
Oh, yeah, completely.
It was so not related. Whereas at least this week I felt a little bit like she was like, oh, I've met a lot of amazing women and they're so strong and they've suffered a lot, and it felt more related anyway. So, but it's just because they try and do it every single week. If this had been the first time they'd done it would have been quite an interesting parallel to draw.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
When Anne Hathaway played Fontaine in the film, someone said, oh, like, how did you lose all that weight? And she goes, well, I wasn't trying to look skinny. The whole point was that this like Fontaine grew up in poverty. Well, not grew up in poverty, like that's the opposite. Fell into poverty, and like, she's been a victim of the commodification of sex and stuff. And so I really love that they were highlighting that, because like Fontaine is a tragic character. And Kevin, I can't believe Kevin played the man that took her childhood in his stride and then was gone when autumn came. That shook me. Like, because I didn't watch it on Saturday night, so I got in from a night out on Saturday, so like Sunday morning technically. Looked at my phone and I was like, oh my god, he played the man who took her childhood in his stride. I was so excited by that.
Oh,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Nameless man who was gone when autumn came.
How could you do that to her, Kevin?
I know. Was he drawing in his stubble again though? Like, I'm honestly not sure. It definitely looks darker.
I really think so.
Bless him. Oh, I don't know. I really, really enjoyed them this week. They won me over, but they were always going to with Les Mis. And as I said, crowd pleasing Charleston next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, like, let them be who they are. Great. I don't need. I thought, it was great choreography, and I think also Kevin hides a multitude of sins in his choreography, but that's what he should do.
Yes, I think that's probably fair. There were lots of lifts with like 4 people lifting her up, and she's so tiny, isn't she? So like that was always going to look really impressive, and she doesn't really have to do much. But anyway, I mean, I'm not criticising it. I loved it, obviously, but.
But speaking of lift, takes us quite nicely into Joe. And you know I said how I had that little list of notes that I made that I couldn't tweet? So you know how they were like, we have decided to lift Joe instead of him lifting me. And I was a bit like, but it's because Joe can't do the lift, right? Like,
I don't know why they made
done it without doing a show-stopping lift.
Yeah.
And not that you need to do show-stopping lifts. I think it's nice to go back to basics sometimes, but...
Yeah. I'm not sure why they made quite such a big fuss about them lifting him. It was a great ending to it, so they should have lifted him.
And he's the main character, he's Joseph, so like it would make way more sense for him to be lifted than for Diane, the narrator, I presume, to be lifted if she was a character in it. I don't know if she really was a character in it, was she?
Yeah. It would have been really weird if they'd done that lift with Diane. Like, it would have just been weird. She's not the main character, and also she's not the celebrity. So yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. Maybe maybe it is technically like, maybe it's technically really difficult to be lifted as well as to lift, because they made a fuss, didn't they, when Stacey was doing the man's hold?
Yeah,
and
I think it is
understood that.
Probably quite hard to do the lift. So isn't it the core strength that you need to have, and
Yeah.
like you've got to position yourself correctly.
Yeah.
Which there's a bit of a weird neck placement, and I couldn't decide it was because he doesn't have the hairography to cover the weird neck placement, or whether I was just being like, oh, weird. But I thought, yeah, it was just making the big deal out of it. That was a bit like, to me, you're just highlighting the fact that you're covering up that he can't do lifts.
Yeah.
But then I might be wrong. Maybe he can do lifts.
Maybe he can.
Their showdowns will be really interesting if he can't do lifts.
That would be.
And I'll be up for that.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Maybe he can. I remember him doing some good lifts in like the Charleston or something, which were kind of different. He's not like putting her up against his above his head or anything, but yeah, I remember him doing them quite well, and Darcy commenting that he did them really well because it's not just about strength. So
yeah,
let's see. Anyway, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really fun. I know what you mean. It's not a classic salsa song, but it seemed to work okay for it. I just don't. 10? Was it? I thought there was places where it looked a bit stiff. Like,
I would have said 8 for Craig.
I think Joe's being overmarked the last few weeks.
Oh yeah.
What was it last week? Oh, it was the basketball thing, and he got a couple of 10s there, and I was like, really? And then, what did he do the week before? There was something else. What did he do the week before? I can't remember. But anyway, I haven't seen a 10-worthy dance from him yet, and he's got loads of 10s.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, don't get me wrong, I really like him. I think he's great fun to watch. I really like watching all of his training videos and everything. Him and Diane have got such a good partnership. But I haven't seen like Faye, Ashley, Stacey have left me like open mouthed on numerous occasions, and Joe hasn't yet.
No.
I'm trying to think now. I don't think he has.
No, I would agree with that. I really like him, and it makes you wonder if they're trying to justify his place in the final. Not that I'm not a conspiracy theorist for Strictly, but like it does make you wonder things like that. Like our friend in the Strictly group chat was like, "Is this 15 weeks just been for nothing? Like, is Joe just going to walk this, and we're going to be like, oh."
Literally. Yeah, exactly.
I still think he deserves his place in the semi-final, if not the final. But I agree. Like, it'll annoy me if he wins over like Faye or even Stacey. I think because it feels like how like Ed Sheeran duets with Beyonce. I don't know, but yes. I just didn't care. But I just think, guys, go and listen to. I wrote down the name of the song, Carnival. That's not how you pronounce it at all. Carnival del Barrio from In the Heights, or just even the opening song to In the Heights. And oh my god, you're going to be blown away by what a better salsa would have been if Joe had done his salsa to that. Like, it would have been amazing. And it just like, I really love Joseph, so this pains me to say this. And I, the gimmick of Joe and Joseph, well, hey, but it just felt lazy to me. And also it was the mega mix, it wasn't like, do you know what? If you're going to do a dance to Joseph, do it to Potiphar, you cowards. And that's my story.
I'm so sorry. I can't, like, I'm not a big Andrew Lloyd Webber fan. I don't really know Joseph at all, so I can't be like yeah or no or I disagree. I'm just like I thought it worked quite well.
It did. Also,
but you're right. There are so much more better salsa songs with like a more Latin feel to them completely. Like, so yeah.
Can I just highlight this on my list of songs that I would change? I wrote down all the different songs that were on this week. And I didn't change Stacey's. But on the quick step, I wrote down Dead Gay Son from Heathers, which would be inappropriate. Strictly, just be thankful that I have some sense. Like, I crossed it out, okay? I knew that it wouldn't work. But also, please go and listen to Dead Gay Son from Heathers, the music.
Okay, I will do. We should even put like a little playlist together or something.
Oh my god!
And send it to Strictly.
Oh my god, yes! If not just for me. Ideal. Anyway, moving on, right? Charles?
Yes.
Charles. Speaking of songs that were wrong for the dance.
Oh, I know. Maria.
I love West Side Story. I love it so much. I think it's the best written musical in the world. I just don't think Maria is right for a hip sashaying rumba. Like, Maria is all about the innocence and the...
Yeah.
It's romantic, but it's like non-threatening romantic, not like...
It's like super naive romanticism. Like, he's seen her once, he's fallen in love with her. Like, have they even kissed at that point? She's put her hands on his face and be like, my hands are cold. Like, that's literally the level of innocence we're at. And like, a rumba with like sexy hips, it didn't work for me.
It didn't.
And I love that song. And I thought they danced it well. And I did really get the judges' points about him like doing this kind of amazing, like, vulnerable masculinity to it. I thought he did that really well.
So, you know how a couple of weeks ago I said, I feel like he's not quite understanding that you can be masculine in ballroom? I think he got that this week. I was really, really happy.
Absolutely.
I thought he did have a soft masculinity about him, and I thought the rumba itself was really good. I feel like I could superimpose different music on it and prefer it. I just think the music, like, the concept worked. I think him and Karen's chemistry has definitely taken off. And it's just as you say, it's much more innocent than a rumba. You know, say it like quiet and it's like music praying. That's the wrong lyric. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, like, to paraphrase. It's got all. I think it's got the say it loud, there's music playing part, but it needs to have the other praying part too, and I just don't think that worked.
Yeah, exactly. I was listening to it again and thinking that it might make a really good kind of like foxtrot or American smooth or something in a ballroom hold that's a bit more like classic and a bit more I don't know, what's the word, where you're not too sexy with each other, you're just kind of a bit more like you're in love, but a bit like Lauren and AJ's dance.
Yeah, exactly, a little bit more like innocent, I think is the word.
And you could do an amazing lift on like the Maria bit.
Maria.
Yeah,
that's my favourite bit in the whole song, and I like it when you hear someone do it properly as well, when they do the full on like gasping, I need to take a big breath to do the
yeah,
I love that. I stand. I wrote down lots of better rumba songs for this one. Lots and lots and lots. So from Bridges of Madison County, we could have had Before and After, which would have worked. Look, it's very romantic but very saucy as well. She's talking about how she puts her hands on him. It's all very rough.
Oh, that would be a good rumba song.
What You Mean to Me from Finding Neverland, which is Finding Neverland. It's based on the film Finding Neverland, so it's very Victorian and not necessarily like. So maybe if I'm criticising Maria, but it's also about two adults singing that they want to be in love together but can't. So it works. Elaborate Lives from, I think it's pronounced Ada, but I may be wrong. They've never actually brought this to the West End, which is a crime. But it's written by Tim Rice and Elton John, and produced by Disney, so it should be on their list. And it's about a Nubian queen, I believe, and an Egyptian soldier, and they have a forbidden love. And it's like, we both lead elaborate lives. It would have been perfect. And also it like bring Ada to the West End. Also, if we're really going like to musicals that are crowd pleasers, As Long as You're Mine from Wicked. And for this moment, as long as you're mine. And they've all got. I made sure they all had that bit where you can drag someone. Where they, in Rumbas, when they, the woman runs up to them and they drag them across the floor.
Yeah,
that's my favourite bit in a rumba. So you have to have a good bit of song to do that to. And I made sure they all had that bit. So honestly, there's also another In the Heights song called I think it's After the Sun Goes Down. Something the sun goes down. But that would be good as well.
Awesome. So many potential.
Yeah, sorry, but that's what annoys me. Why the hell did they pick Maria?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a shame to see them go this year.
Yes, yeah, that's true. We haven't even spoken about the fact that they've gone. I mean, to be honest, I think it probably was maybe Lauren's week, but I don't know. I don't feel too upset, but I know there was a lot of love for Charles on Strictly, and people saying it's not fair because he was against Ashley and stuff like that. So yeah, but I think it's just because I never quite warmed to him, and there was a point where I felt really sorry for him being in all those dance-offs, and then he got so much better, and so I quite enjoyed watching his journey. But I don't know, he wasn't a finalist for me, so I don't feel too sad, but I don't know how you feel about it.
Pretty much exactly the same. I would say that I'm really glad that he got through all those dance-offs, because he didn't deserve to go when he was in those first spate of dance-offs that he was in. He didn't deserve to be in them. And I feel like I think I said this a couple of podcasts ago. I do feel like his and Karen's relationship was forged in like the fires of those dance-offs.
Yeah.
And so he ended up going from strength to strength. So I'm glad that the dance-offs unlocked that potential in him.
Yeah.
And that by the end of the show, he really sort of understood the show, I think.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where when they went, "You're doing Maria," he went, "Oh my God, wow." And I was like, "Babe, you've never heard Maria, have you?" But he tried to convince us that he had. And I respect him for that. And yeah, I'm really glad that he went out on it. If he had, you know how I said, I just never wanted Graham to go out on a dance which he had, gone a bit tits up. Like, Charles went out on a dance where he was very good, and if he didn't go this week, he would have gone next week, I think. So, as you say, I didn't see him as a finalist. I don't feel like he went before his time. Maybe a week before his time, but not really.
It was. I mean, he was joint bottom of the leaderboard with Lauren, so I think it was. He probably could have expected to be in the dance off. So yeah. And also,
it's not like he was top of the leaderboard.
Yeah. And the competition is just so close now. Like, there's literally 5 marks between them, and the top mark is 40. So like, you can get 35 and be at the bottom, which is mental. But yeah. I don't know. I did actually really enjoy this one there. Just the hips felt a bit weird, but that's not because he was dancing it wrong. It's just because of the song choice.
There's no hips in bloody... Tony doesn't have hips.
he doesn't, does he?
Tony's flat like a Ken doll. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Maria likes her non-threatening voice.
Exactly. So yeah, but it was really good to watch where they got to, I think, and I think their partnership by the end was really great.
I love their little exit speeches. It was sweet.
Yeah, and it was just nice to see Karen doing a dance she obviously really cared about, and she really kind of brought that character to life and everything as well. So yeah, it was really good. So goodbye, Charles and Karen.
Charles and Diana.
Oh God. Oh my God, I can't believe that I was not here to record the podcast on that week. What a week to have missed. Excuse me. Anyway, shall we move on to our final couple?
Yeah, I want to end on a harsh note, so I'm not going to. I'm going to say that she amazingly improved this week.
Yeah, huge improvement.
last week where I was literally like, who is that? And it began mood about it. I'm like, no, I get it this week. I enjoyed it. And her song was one of the best choices as well. So that just goes to show what a difference a song can make.
Yeah, no, I disagree. No, I thought she was so much better than last week, and she was really lovely to watch. I thought she did really well. I didn't really like the song.
Did you not?
I thought it was just too it was all just too lovely. There was no interest in it. It was really, there was a line in the song that was something like, oh, I've got a conventional twinkle in my eye, or something like that. And that's exactly how I felt this was, like really a conventional portrayal of being in love. And I still don't really see that chemistry between them. They're very, it feels very kind of tame, and it feels very like, it feels really lovely, but there's kind of no other grit to it, and I think that was partly the song choice, partly their relationship. I did really enjoy it. That's not like a down on her. Just for her to get to the final, I just want to see that, like, I don't know, something a bit more like shade to the lightness, you know? And I think that's something that like Faye, Ashley, Stacey, like actually even Joe sometimes really have. And Charles, I think, showed that in his Maria dance. And I don't know. I felt it would have been fair if Lauren was in the dance off, that's all. But they looked shocked, didn't they?
So shocked. So, I mean, I think everyone was. I say I'm not who's voting for Lauren, but I think what you've hit the nail on the head with is that I don't get excited by them. I think that this performance was very similar to that beautiful waltz they did, in that it was sweet and endearing, and I really enjoyed watching it. I thought it was romantic, but it wasn't romantic in the way that, like, oh my god, like, I want a t-shirt with Kevin and Stacey's face on. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though I know Giovanni, like, I don't think we don't believe in the Strictly Curse in this household or whatever, but like, I want to watch Giovanni and Faye like herd sheep. I want to like watch Stacey and Kevin fall in love only for Kevin to leave her in the autumn. To be gone with
Kevin. Yeah, exactly. I know this sounds a bit hypocritical because we were just saying that Charles and Karen's dance wasn't innocent enough, but the reason that Maria's song is so moving is because it's so innocent, and you know what's going to happen. You know that like they can't survive, and there's that real like. I was gonna get all literary there and be like the pathos, but no, just like the sadness. There's that real like sadness to it, and like this inevitability of it, like of everything kind of failing, and so an ideal dance to Maria would be able to kind of express all of that. Anyway. And with this one with Florida, it's just like I'm in love with a wonderful boy, or whatever the lyric is, and it's like, okay, lovely, glad for you.
I think it probably works though because it's an oldie Rodgers and Hammerstein. So it's very like that sort of, not the Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals of one note, but the opposite of one note. Guys, listening to If I Loved You from Carousel. So many layers to unpick in that one song, but I would respect it more if they'd done that song as a thing where it's like, you know, the guy who runs the carousel, who works in the fair, and falls in love with the girl who, you know, is the girl next door. Whereas this was very like, it felt like you'd forget that musical number and move on to the next one. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know how sometimes the main couple in a film are not the ones that you like care about that much, like Bernardo and Anita, right? West Side Story. much more exciting than Maria and Tony. But like, that doesn't mean we don't love Maria and Tony. Obviously, we've just talked like wax lyrical about how much we love Maria and Tony. But I just feel like there's some. I loved it, and I think it should show improvement. I think that slowly but surely we're seeing more of their working relationship together.
Yeah.
But it's too slow for Strictly.
Yeah.
And I don't get excited by it, really.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful but forgettable, if that's nasty. Is that? I don't know.
No, I agree.
We did ask people to tweet in and tell us why they were voting for Lauren or what they thought of Lauren, and if maybe someone was, you guys were connecting with her in a way that we weren't. And one of our listeners, Mark, did tweet in to say that he genuinely thinks that her and AJ have developed a partnership like Stacey and Graham did with their partners, which I don't think they haven't anymore. Like, I just don't necessarily think they show it.
Yeah, I think it's not as immediately kind of obvious, is it? But it's also, I mean, clearly it's something that other people are seeing and picking up on, and that I'm kind of missing, I guess.
It's either that or it's like a protest vote.
No, I don't know. I think people must really love them, because they were really undermarked a couple of weeks ago, but we're past that now. Like, I don't think people are kind of defending them anymore. I think they clearly have some really hardcore fans, which is great, because it is lovely watching her improve and everything. I guess I'm just not rooting for them in the same way that I am for some of the others.
Yeah, she's definitely improved.
Yeah, completely.
But it's just getting to the final now. I think that's it, isn't it?
That's it. I'm just like, should she be in the final or not? I think she's done so well to get this far, and I'm really glad she has made it through every week. But is she a finalist? I don't think. Yeah, I don't think she is. I think the final on kind of merit should be Faye, Ashley, Stacey and Joe.
Yeah.
But I actually can't call, like, a few weeks ago I was convinced that's who it would be, and now I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going out next week.
No, it's worrying.
Anything could happen. Like, Ashley could go out next week if she's in the dance off against Faye. If it had been this week,
I need to know what dances they're doing. Tomorrow we'll find out on the Tunes on Tuesday. The Tunes on Tuesday. Like, I think it's all to play for next week. I'm very excited. Can't wait to find out what they're all doing.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. Semi-finals.
AJ's gone out in the last 3 semi-finals.
No, stop. Has he?
Yeah, Molly.
Oh, AJ. It might be his time again. Let's see what happens.
And on that note, yodelay, yodelay, yodelay. Bye.
Goodbye. It's so nice to be back. I'm so happy I'm back.
I'm glad you're back.
Yay. We will see you next week for the semi-final. Yodelay, yodelay, yodelay.
Yodelay, yodelay, yodelay. Thank you for listening to Strictly on the Sofa. The theme tune is It Takes Two by Ben Corbett. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and rate us on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts, as it helps other people find us. In the meantime, follow us on Twitter at StrictlyOnSofa or email us at strictlyonthesofa@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your dancing thoughts. See you next week!